Alright, today let's talk about medication errors. Med errors. If you have not made a med error, you are not a nurse. That's how I feel. Med errors. Every nurse in the history of nursing has made some sort of med error. This is why, while you are in school, they pound upon you. Check, check, check. They say 3 checks. At least they told us 3 checks. If you know a nurse that says they've never made a med error, they're either not being honest with you, made the error and don't know they did it, or they have just been in it for just the tiniest little bit of time. It took me 2 years before I made my first med error. I was a nurse for 2 years before I made my first med error. I've made 3 med errors. I'm not going to go into great detail about any of the 3, but I've done 3 med errors. That's better than 1 a year, I'll say, so, not too bad. Anyways, my very, very first med error was math related. It was math related. So, if you're in nursing school and they're like, harp on math and know your math and do your math, my very first med error was math related. It really was. It was math related. They say that to do the 3 checks, check 3 times, check this, check that. I really don't care too much for only 3 checks. I feel like there should be more checks. I've kind of come into my, as being a nurse for a little while, I've kind of come into my own little thing about doing more than 3 checks. Because you never know, man. Somebody may have a brother or a cousin, they may have the same name. That's kind of what I was getting at with that one. Anyways, back to the med errorness that happens. Med errors do happen. It's a terrible, terrible thing when a med error happens and you feel like you just can't breathe for the rest of your life. You feel like you're dying like immediately. That's just how I felt, to be honest with you. I don't know how other people feel. But I felt like right then, that was the end of the world for me. Luckily, mine were very, nothing happened. I'll say that. Nothing bad happened. But in any case, what you got to do with your med errors, always, always, always make sure your patient is who you say your patient is. That was not what happened with me. But anyways, always make sure your patient is your patient. Check your MAR. Check your bracelet. Ask the patient. Check, check, check. Even when you get in a hurry. I've done long-term care. I know in long-term care you are pressed for time. I know. But even in long-term care, still make sure that patient and that MAR and that medication go together. There are some medications in long-term care, I know I did it, that are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or every now and then you get one that's once a week or once a month. Make sure you're on top of your game and you know what day it is. And you know, hey, today it is Friday. My Monday, Wednesday, Friday med is due today. Every now and then, and I've actually seen this, there is a once a month medication. Let's say today's the 9th. Say, all right, it's the 9th. Today I got to give that once a month medication. Every day on the 9th, I give that medication. Always, 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 always check your stuff. Check your stuff. Don't get too comfortable. I've made a video before about how I managed my med pass while I was in nursing, while I was at the long-term care facility. But even though I wrote down, what times everything was, I never, ever, ever wrote down the medications that someone got. That made sure that I always checked the MAR. Always check that MAR. And with a paper MAR, it can be even easier to make one of those mistakes. With the computer MAR, It's a little bit harder because you actually got to click, 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 click. You know, you got to scan everything in. It's still possible to mess up, even with the computer Mars, the electronic Mars. It's still possible. The electronic Mars do add one more check, if you will. They add one more fail-safe, if you will. But it is still possible because you are still drawing up medications, and you could, you know, I don't know, draw up 2 metoprolols, 2 metoprolol. I've seen as high as 50s. You know, you could scan it, boom, but you pop 2. All of a sudden, you just gave 100 milligrams of metoprolol. Oh, snap. I need to check this patient's heart rate for the rest of the year. You know, not really the rest of the year, but still, you know, that's a med error. They still happen. Check your meds, check your patient, check your MAR, check your meds again. I even today, I drew up the same medication 3 times. Today, I drew up the same medication 3 times for the same patient because I was worried that I got a check wrong. And every time I was worried that I got a check wrong and I didn't go through my mental checks that I have set out upon myself, I was worried, oh snap, that's not really how much of the medication that I was really supposed to pull up. That's not enough. That's too much. That's not really my check. I didn't do all my checks. I did that today. I gave the right medication. I gave it at the right time to the right patient. I mean, just saying. I didn't, you know, I had to draw it up 3 times, but I will take that loss any day over a med error. So, med errors happen. I'm sorry if they do happen to you. It's terrible. It's no fun, and you feel like you're dying. But I hope it helps. I hope you look at your stuff and check your stuff. Always check your stuff. So, hope it helps. Thank you much.